but thanks for listening. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to We Say Things, episode 265, sponsored by Dexterous Time to Steal, a video game on Steam, which we will actually be talking about a little bit into the episode. Excited about this because this is actually a viewer that made this game, first time dev. But yeah, we'll talk about it a little later, Cinderman. First, let's say thank you to our beautiful patrons of the In Bruges tier: Mechazor, Empire of Dirt, 10 out of 10 Goldblooms, Malicious Damage, Lakers in Cancun, that's right, bitch. That part was me. Amish Toaster, Richard Lewis choked my mom. No Matter Than a Hatter, Crownfall Enjoyer, Captain Broccoli, Suns Nugget Boy, STGC Daniel, Pepperballs, and T-Coil.
It's incorrect, Shannon. It says Poper Balls. He renamed because of the new Pope.
Oh, shit. Man, that's a muscle memory right there.
Yeah, let's remember when I was reciting someone who wasn't on there 2 or 3 weeks in a row. It's great. T-Coil, Vlad, Let's Have Puppy on the podcast, Disco Farm D, the Mega Pope, Shark TM, Janie, Dop, Wooden Aftertaste, Anonymous, and finally, Americans eat 317 million kilograms of peanut butter yearly, enough to coat the Grand Canyon floor. Mr. Niebling.
I thought it'd be more than that, if I'm being honest.
Americans know what's good, Shannon. Peanut butter.
If it was just butter, then it would probably be filled with Grand Canyon.
Way more. Yeah. That's way more than that.
All right.
It's a lot of peanut butter.
Let's get started. And I wasn't going to do this, but somebody in chat reminded me of something that occurred yesterday.
Thank you, Insanity. Really nice. Really nice of you.
NBA segment, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't done one in a while.
Love that.
Just to keep you apprised, the playoffs are currently ongoing. It has actually been the craziest playoffs. The games have been insanely good, lots of buzzer beaters, very exciting. And the Suns weren't in it, of course, because we were dog shit.
I thought you didn't watch then.
Usually I don't, but the games have been so insanely good that it has been really interesting. But something that happens in the middle of the playoffs is the teams that suck ass end up doing the lottery, what's called the lottery. It's a bunch of ping pong balls, and it's teams 1 through 14, as in the bottom 14 teams, aka the teams that didn't make the playoffs. You play the ping pong battle, whatever, and the teams that, just the TLDR, it's not exactly like this, but the teams that are worse have a better chance of getting their ping pong balls in the top 3 slots, right? Okay. And this year, the number 1 pick will be this guy that's on the screen. His name is Cooper Flagg. I don't really watch NCAA, but apparently he's extremely good, two-way player. He's going to be an all-star at the very least. I don't know if I'd put him on the same level as some of these other generational people, like the Lukas even though he wasn't number 1 pick, but like Luka Doncic, which we'll get to that in a second. But he's apparently going to be very, very good at the very least, so he could end up being generational. So everybody wants this number 1 pick because, again, Cinder, in some years, the number 1 pick is actually not that good, so you're not that excited. But this year, people are pretty excited, okay?
Okay.
The Suns, as you know, were terrible, so we technically got a lottery pick. I say technically because we have traded ours away, so it's our pick being given to someone else. And I was like, surely we're going to end up getting quote-unquote lucky and get a top 3 pick, and we have to give it up to this other team. That did not happen. There was a 4% chance for that to happen, okay, to go into the top 3.
Okay.
So do you remember a team named the Dallas Mavericks?
Yes.
They traded Luka Doncic. Their fans absolutely hate them. Everyone in the sports world, including other owners, have gone on record saying it's the stupidest trade in the history of sports. Okay?
Okay.
They had so they made the play-in, which is not the playoffs, and then they lost, so that technically they could get a lottery pick.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 1.8% chance to go into the top 3, and they got the number 1 pick. So they are rewarded for their absolute stupidity somehow. And of course, people like me and others around the world are claiming that this is rigged. And the reason for that is because this has happened many times before, where a team let's say the Cleveland Cavaliers, they lost LeBron James. He went to another team. It was a huge deal. What happens the next year, Cinderin? They get the number 1 pick. This has happened like a few times. It's ridiculous. So rewarded for horrible management.
Is the RNG not televised, or?
So the actual ping pong, like the way that they do it with like the balls in this little machine, that is behind like closed doors.
Oh.
And the reveal, like when you go, like when the commissioner, I forget what his name is. It's not the commissioner. It's the guy under him. When he goes on TV, he just has the envelopes. So all he's doing is open the envelope. So it's already been done.
I see.
And people backstage already know who won.
So it's kind of like the Oscars.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it. Okay.
So
yeah, then you can definitely claim rigged.
Yeah, so they're going to be good for the foreseeable future, which is just great.
Love the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, good job. I mean, a lot of Suns fans hate Dallas Maverick fans. I'm not really one of them. I felt bad for their team because they lost Luka Doncic. Part of me feels like the GM and the owner that made this trade, it's like so fucking mind-bogglingly stupid, and they're rewarded, and that bothers me. That, like, the principle of it, you know?
They didn't get rewarded, Shannon. They got lucky. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's move on to Blast Slam 3, which has concluded, Cinderman.
That is correct.
Talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the tournament first and then talk about what predictions we did, because we did do predictions for this, so we need to update our tally. I do not remember what we picked, so this will be exciting to see if I catch up or if I'm doomed. So this was the same format that Blast has run in their other slams so far. So this is the 3rd edition, obviously, and they do 10 invites. There's no qualifications for this tournament. It's just an invite-only tournament where teams are placed into 2 groups of 5. And then you play best of ones internally in those groups. And then based on how you place in the group, you start later and later into a single elimination bracket. So it's a very different format from other tournaments. Some people love it. Some people think it's bad. If nothing else, it makes for some variety. And the way it played out is in Group A, Falcons took first place, Gaiman second, Paravision third, Aurora fourth, and Spirit 5th. And in Group B, Tundra first, Tidebound second, Extreme third, Liquid 4th, and Betboom 5th. And this, of course, means that the 4th, 5th teams play on day 1. The 5th place team from one group plays the 4th place team from the other group, and vice versa. So that's how it all started out. And then, then they play through, and this tournament's pretty compressed. There's 2 BO3s a day, so it's 5 days of games after a 1 day of groups, so a total 6-day tournament. Let's skip to top 4, because obviously this tournament has no 3rd, 4th place finisher, third place match. There's no lower bracket finals to decide who's 3rd. There's just a shared 3rd, 4th place because it's single elim. So in shared 3rd, 4th place, we got Team Spirit and Game and Gladiators. So good job to Spirit. Keep in mind they started in the absolute day 1. They were last in their Group A, and they still managed to get a podium finish. In 2nd place was Falcons, who started in 1st place in their group, so that was kind of par for the course. And the other team that ended up winning the tournament was Tundra again. So back-to-back winners of Slam, and they were also in 1st place in their group. So the 2 finalists at the end of the day were the group winners, and then the other 3rd, 4th place finisher in Game and Gladiators were 2nd place in their group. So for the most part, so far, this has been interesting for me to watch, is that people talk about, okay, how much variance is there? Are these group stage matches just going to be way too impactful? Are they representative? Generally speaking, the teams that do... so let's see, Gaiman start top 4? Wait. No, Gaiman start top 6, right? By virtue of being 2nd in their groups. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, for the most part in this tournament so far, the teams that have done well in the group stage, the teams that have topped the groups, I think have been the grand finalists every time. So they have also beaten their next opponent once they got one in the bracket.
I think that's my main gripe of this format. I mean, there's a lot of gripes, honestly, but the main one is you have this very short group stage. You only play 4 games, 4 best of 3s, and then you're already top 4. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. Go ahead.
I personally welcome the fact that we have a different format like this, but I would also like to see some sort of tweaks. But I think what the fans really enjoy about this format is that every game matters a lot, and all the BO3s are single elim. So there's a lot of stakes, right, for every game.
See, I love single elim in general, but it just feels weird that you're playing a very short, like small amount of games, very small sample size, and you're already on, the final 2 days.
Right. Okay, that's how it went down. I don't really want to get too much into detail about picks and the meta, etc. I feel like we have tournaments all the time right now, and there hasn't been a big patch in between. So a lot of the stuff that was good going in was also good going out. It's a lot of the same heroes still. It's a lot of the same strategies. There was nothing that really blew me away like, oh, wow, now the teams are completely pivoting playstyle. There's like, it's still more... most of the same. I guess the biggest surprise was Carry Doom became a thing this tournament for some teams, but it's like there's like a little hidden gem here and there, but for the most part it's the same. So as you can tell from my enunciation, I hope we get a patch soon. That'll be really cool to spice things up a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Traditionally, there's I don't know how this happens, but a lot of the time there's new patches during Dreamleague. So we'll see. That's coming up soon. Maybe we get lucky with that. Okay, here was our predictions for Blast Slam 3 are as follows. I had in first place Game and Gladiators.
Nice.
They got third, fourth, so I got 1 point.
Yep.
I had in second place Parivision. They got seventh, eighth.
They got fifth, sixth.
And in third place, I had Team Spirit. They got third, fourth, so I get a 1 point there as well for a grand total of 2 points.
Okay, good.
My dark horse was Aurora, top 4. They got 5th, 6th. My white donkey was Tundra, not top 4. They won the tournament. Unfortunate.
Wasn't really anything top too spicy other than Game and kind of making top 4.
Yeah. Your top 3 in order was Spirit, Tundra, Parivision. So you get a point for Spirit and you get a point for Tundra, but you did not have them in the correct order, just like I didn't. None of us got a snipe. Your dark horse was Liquid, top 4. They got last.
Good.
And your white donkey was Falcons, not top 4. They got second. So great job to both of us as usual. Nothing
lead
changes.
Maintained. Good.
You maintain the same lead. You're now up 17 to 11. And I guess just to keep it short and sweet, let's just immediately go into Dreamleague, if you will. Or do you want to wait with that?
I was gonna wait, unless you have a good reason not to.
No, that's fine. Let's talk about Dexterous first.
All right, Dexterous, time to steal. So I'm going to read a little blurb from our friend, verbal call to action, as it were. This is what he wrote. Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. I've been a long-time listener to We Say Things and wanted to sponsor an episode to tell you all about the game I developed, Dexterous, Time to Steal. It is a match 3 roguelite that plays like a combination of Candy Crush and Slay the Spire. It's similar to Dragon Chess from Crownfall event, but you get to strategically craft your deck to fight your opponents. During the pandemic, I got inspired to learn how to code and make my own game. As a solely indie developer, I made everything from scratch and was inspired by the pixel art and music from my favorite games from the Super Nintendo like Chrono Trigger. And Dota has also been a big inspiration for me. At least 2 of the relics in the game are based off of items. My goal was to make a game that was mindless enough to play while listening to the podcast, especially ours, of course, or a Dota cast while still being deep and complex enough to keep me entertained for hours and hours. After 3 years of hard work, the result is Dexterous, Time to Steal, where you play a thief that just got out of prison, serving time for a crime that he did not commit. And on top of that, you've had debts that have been accruing the whole time. Now it's time to take the ever-changing streets to acquire gold and take on bounties to take out rival crime bosses. When deadly foes defeat you, a mysterious force pulls you back in time to try again and again and again. I genuinely love the game, and I wanted to share it with the Dota 2 community that has brought me so much entertainment over the years. So I'm going to show a little bit of gameplay here. So again, solo indie developer, and when he messaged me about this, I was like, first of all, being a solo developer is extremely difficult. I was looking at the gameplay. I'm like, I'm not sure if I would like this because I didn't like Dragon Chess, but I love Slay the Spire. I have 5, 6. I added this 2 or 3 days ago, to my account. I've played like 5 or 6 hours already. It's really good. You don't have to like Dragon Chess, trust me. And I think going back, the reason I probably didn't like Dragon Chess is because there was a time limit. And I'm really bad at seeing these patterns. But in this game, obviously, it's just like Slay the Spire, so you can take as much time as you want. But yeah, you want to talk a bit about the game, Cinderman?
Yeah, so we got access to the game around the same time. So I got access to it on Sunday, and I think I have 8 hours played. My Steam list says 8.9, but I think it maybe was a little bit AFK. So let's say 8 hours. I love this game. I played, so yeah, what's that? 3 hours a day, roughly, since I got access to it. And like you said, it's a combination of, I think Slay the Spire and Dragon Chess is just a really good way to put it. So you can see the map that you had open a moment ago is like, it's very reminiscent of if you play Slay the Spire with, all right, you go step to step throughout the map. As you progress throughout the map, your deck gets stronger, but now instead of a deck of cards, it's the blocks that level up. So the beginning blocks just have a color, and then maybe they do a little bit of damage. And then as you get further and further through the game, you like craft your deck or your blocks, so to speak, to function in a specific way. Maybe they play off of block a lot. Maybe they play off of crits. Maybe they play it off of combos, mana, all this sort of ideas that you would be familiar with from a game like Slay the Spire. And in essence, the thing that I thought was really fun about Slay the Spire and made me play that game for a lot of hours is present in this game as well, which is there's a nice ramp up of difficulty as you progress in the game. It feels like your decisions really matter and you can be clever about stuff. And similar to, if you think about Slay the Spire, you have a certain amount of cards you can play per round. In Dexterous, you have a certain amount of moves on the board. So you're looking at the essentially Dragon Chess Bejeweled board, whatever you want to call it, and you're mapping out, okay, if I do these things in this order, how much armor am I going to give? And I'm going to be able to kill the enemy that I want to be able to kill? How am I foreseeing the next round playing out? So you're kind of like strategizing throughout the game. So it's really rewarding. It's honestly, it's a great time. And like you said, it's a solo dev that made it. And I'm very impressed. I was very encouraging toward him when I tried playing the game for a little bit. I was very pleasantly surprised. So, in spite of it being a sponsor of the podcast, I've been playing it a lot, not because of that. I've been playing it because it's genuinely really fun.
Yeah, if we're sponsored by stuff, we're not like we don't need to play technically, but
right.
it's been quite good. So my personal most satisfying moment. So the way that it works is you obviously try to you have a certain amount of moves that you have per turn, and then the enemy goes, and then when you comes back to your turn, more blocks come in, and my strategy, not that I'm a high-level player, Cinderin, but my strategy was to try to get rid of as many of the colors I didn't want, and then going all in on one color, which I went in on red, and I had like these daggers that were just upgraded. Most satisfying moment, it happened twice, is the round, like I get into the fight, and the blocks come down. I had so many, I killed all the enemies without having to do a single thing. It was really fucking sick. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised as well. So highly recommend this game for people out there. It's on. I think Nikki posted the link on Twitch. I'll be posting it in the YouTube comments as well as the podcast audio. But yeah, it's Dexterous Time to Steal.
It's $10, right?
Yeah.
I think. And one more thing about this game, like he alluded to in the blurb for promoting the game from his perspective. This game is really easy to play on the go. So if you have your laptop with you, or if you have a Steam Deck, or if you just want to chill at your PC, there's no time pressure, there's no stress, and it's like nice and easy to do while you're having a conversation with someone or whatever. It doesn't take so much brain power that you can't focus on anything else, but at the same time, it demands enough attention that you don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good chance that if you liked Slay the Spire, I agree with you 100%. I think Slay the Spire, if that was a game for you, this is a game for you. If you liked Dragon Chess, there's a good chance this is also a game that you will really like, because there's that shared mechanic of matching and pattern recognition. So awesome game. I'm very impressed with what this guy did.
Yep.
I think it's
good job. Good job.
Yep.
All right, so that brings this segment to an end, which means we can get into Dreamleague Season 26, which is coming up. I guess we first talk about the talent announcement. We will be there officially. Good job, right. Cinderin. You did it again.
Hell yeah.
Looks like Pyrian Flax will be there. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Love that
Sight
guy.
for Sore Eyes. And Misery, a old DC member. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Can talk digital chaos times with him.
That's right. You guys can have that conversation. You can talk NBA, and in the meantime, I'll be having a good time.
Wait, who likes NBA here?
You.
Oh, SVG.
Yeah,
Who has hair in this picture. That's very
you
old.
You three do that.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
all right.
So a nice list of people. This will be a good time. We are traveling. I'm guessing you're traveling on Friday, probably?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm traveling on Saturday. It's a little bit shorter for me. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this format of this tournament, it's what you guys are familiar with from previous Dream Leagues. They're running double group stage. So the first group stage is strictly for finding the top 8. So there will be 2 groups of 8, and the top 4 from each group advances to group stage 2, where the top 4 then advance into a very short double elim bracket, where 2 of the starting teams are actually starting in lower. So it's like the final stage is, I believe, 2 days. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's two best of 3s and then a best of 3 and a best of 5 in the end. So
yep.
Same as always. The participating teams are, this is a long list: Paravision, BetBoom, Falcons, Liquid, Navi Junior, Gaming Gladiators, Avulus, Aurora, Nigma Galaxy, Boom, Talon Esports, Shopify, OG LatAm, Edge, Extreme Game, and Yakult Brothers. Yeah, Latin America. What do you call it? Latam?
Latam, yeah. That's how people
Latam?
say it.
Latam.
Do
they?
Yeah, they say Latam.
Latam.
Yeah.
You say it that way?
That's how people say it. I don't know.
Okay, I don't... Look, I've never said this word in my life, okay? I just thought it would be LatAm because it's Latin America. So it's just like,
It just sounds like you're having a stroke mid-sentence. LatAm.
LatAm. Anyway, those are the teams. We do not know the group draws yet, but I don't think that will influence our predictions by very much.
No, considering there's 2 group stages, not really.
Yeah, there's, as usual, a lot of games get played in this tournament. So the group stages are 2-game series, if I remember correctly, in group stage 1. And then group stage 2, it's BO3s. And then the playoff stage is BO3s and 1 BO5. Okay. Do you want to predict first? And what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with top 3 or Dark Horse White Donkey?
Yeah, we can do top 3.
Top 3. Okay.
God, I feel like we're at a stage now where it's just the same teams over and
over. I was
over
thinking the exact same thing. So how about this? What if for this tournament, we don't predict the top 3? We predict the 5 through 8.
Watch top 3 be like 2 Chinese teams.
That will be hilarious the one time we don't do it. But do you want to? Are you down for that? We predict 5, 6, 7, and 8 instead of 1, 2, and 3.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So the teams that don't make it out of group stage 2, but do make it to group stage 2.
Sure.
And we give the same amount of points. So we give 1 point each, and then 2 points if we nail it.
It also
There's a lot of points on the line now.
It means I need to select top 4 so I know who to go for, right?
Yeah.
So. All right. So if I'm putting Falcons, Paravision, Aurora. Wow, who would be 4th? Falcons, Paravision, Aurora.
Do we maybe do top 3 here? There's some big guns missing, right?
Yeah, there are.
So
that's true.
There's no Tundra and there's no Spirit, right? So maybe we should just do top 3.
Okay,
are we being... Let's do top 3. Okay, I changed my mind. Maybe we can do the other thing for our next tournament if it's still the same teams that keep winning.
All right, 3rd place Falcons.
Okay.
2nd place Aurora. 1st place Paravision. Dark Horse, Navi Junior.
You're just going to do all of them back to back? That's not how we usually do, but okay.
Well, I'm confident.
Fair enough.
You know.
Okay. Dark Horse, who did you say?
Navi Junior. What placement would that be?
How high do they need to get?
I don't know. Top 6?
I'm on board with that. That's definitely a Dark Horse performance.
And then White Donkey. Is Team Liquid even allowed to be chosen?
Of course.
They're just going to get eliminated in the first group stage.
Okay. Nah. Is that your prediction? Bottom 8?
Yeah, bottom 8, yeah.
That's I think that's fair. That's honestly, they should not be bottom 8 in this roster.
They did just get last place at the last tournament.
That was a stacked tournament. That was like,
and it was very short and small sample size. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some easier teams here. Let's be honest.
It's true.
Okay. My dark horse is Nigma Galaxy. Top. What do you think is dark horse? 6? Is that dark horse worthy here, or is it top 4?
Top 6.
You think 6 is fair?
Yeah.
Okay. And then my white donkey. Let's do Bet Boom. Not top. I feel like Bet Boom on paper right now is better than Liquid on average, right?
Yeah, probably.
Or so not top 6. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. And then my top 3 teams in order will be number 1. Dude, if I take Liquid. No way, right? Gaming Gladiators. They'll do it this time. And they will beat Vision, who beat Falcons.
Quinn's in chat saying Cinder and Blue. I literally forgot you guys existed. I'm sorry, Quinn. I really, really am sorry.
I keep predicting Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, you'll get it right.
Once I'm right, I will gain points on you. And if I'm wrong, I've already lost anyway.
So Quinn, I just need to let you know that Cinder for years picked China to be doing well at tournaments, and he's single-handedly cursed them. So this is not something you should be rooting for.
This is not good. This is not good. I think gaming is still improving, and in Blast it's starting to look better and better. And you factor in the fact that, like we talked about, some of the big guns are not here, in particular teams that game and struggle against sometimes. So I think they have a better chance, but it's always difficult with these ones. Okay, so what do we have in common? We both have Vision and Falcons in our top 3s, and that's it.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody gains or loses here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
go, Navi Jr. Let's go. You got
I hope
this.
You're right about Navi Jr. I really want them to do well.
I'm just excited to finally say got the juice in a game.
Yes,
it's been a lifelong dream. It's been on the bucket list.
The coach is called the Heartless King. Dude, this team is fucking stacked.
Wait, it's not a LAN, is it?
Well, you're right.
That's why I didn't pick Nigma. They're only good on LAN.
Shit, that's a good point.
You've already locked it in, bitch. All right.
Oh my god, that's actually super true. Oh,
I'm sure. I cannot wait for Extreme to win the tournament. Holy shit! That's
honestly, I kind of want to redo that because that's not a LAN. But okay, I'm locked in.
No, I'll let you do it. I'll let you do it. That means because if you change it now, it means they're gonna do well. So then I'm going to feel even better about this moment.
All right, you know what? I'll take the mulligan, but I'll make it fun. So I'll pick a Chinese team.
There you go. Extreme?
I'm picking Extreme Gaming. What's Dark Horse? Top 4?
Yeah.
Top 3? Top 4?
I'll give you top 4. I mean, they're going to get last place because of this prediction. So this is going to be really cool.
Oh my god, I have too much power. After Kyle resigned, I have taken up the mantle. I'm just
that
running
means
teams
Nigma
into the
might
ground.
win the tournament because of this change. The last minute.
Yeah. You know what? If there's 2 teams in this tournament going in that I could choose that I would want to do well, it's Nigma and Navi Jr. So if that's going to happen, I'm on board with that. That would be cool.
True. All right. Moving on to news of the week-ish. That is not news. This. n0tail is the new coach of OG, which means Kezu is no longer. So, thoughts? I mean, I think the main issue with OG has just been their roster has not been particularly inspiring, right? I don't think any coaching in the world can fix that. And I think this is something that you can't really do much about until after TI probably, because there's not enough players available of that caliber that they're looking for.
I mean, I will say... So I don't know if you saw the documentary that OG put out after they got eliminated from stuff. They did like honestly a really good feature on team morale and how things went when it went wrong. And they had like interviews with Kezu and with players and with n0tail, just talking about, the experience overall, unfortunately, why things didn't work, what they're going to do, etc. And then the documentary ended up saying where each player went, basically. The thing I gathered from that documentary overall was that I think the overall vibe that I got was that at the very least the management was very happy with Kezu. I don't really think the players talked about him much. You can read into that what you will. I'm not going to speculate. But it definitely sounded like n0tail had high praise for him in that documentary. And I honestly don't know if OG wanted him out or if he himself decided to leave. So I don't know whether it was a fire or a quit. I haven't asked. But
what
either
a great
way,
friend
like
you are,
said,
Sundaran.
well, I have talked to him. I just didn't say whether. I didn't ask him, did you leave or did you get fired?
It's like talking to a good friend and not asking how they're doing. It's just common courtesy.
That's not true, because I did write to him. I have talked to him.
Okay.
Have you talked to him?
Yeah, of course. I know the answer, but I'm not going to say it here because I don't know if he wants me to say it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That's literally the first thing I asked him.
Well, that's very insensitive of you. Anyway.
It could be actually the opposite. It's very empathetic of me.
I'm kidding. It's fine.
Thank you.
It's fine. So the thing you said about dysfunctional team, I think this is kind of something that's interesting that you see in sports as well, that in sports, generally speaking, the coach is always, in my experience, when you look at sports news and whatever, the coach seems like a lot of a fall guy, right? If a team does poorly, the coach gets fired. But in reality, maybe sometimes the coach is actually really good. The team just doesn't fucking work, I
don't know. It depends on... I feel like I'm used to seeing the NBA, not to get into the NBA again, where it is on an extreme level. There's like two or maybe three coaches in the league that are just generally safe. 27 out of the 30 will get fired the instant their team starts doing horribly. It's extreme levels. Dota is definitely not on that extreme.
Right. But it's interesting.
But they are the fall person usually.
Yeah, because I understand. Like it's also for the PR of the team. It's the easy move as well for the org or for the brand or for the team, because the fans are very attached to the players, right? Whereas not so much to the coach in general terms. So it's like an easier way to save face as a team is to, try to fire. It's also a matter of contracts, yada, yada, yada. But I think, I don't remember if we talked about this when the OG roster, whatever version it was, got announced, but neither of us felt particularly inspired. I thought it was a weird kind of mix of players. I did not have high expectations, but that doesn't mean it can't work. Sometimes these teams that you have no expectations for turn out to be really good suddenly. And obviously, if anybody's going to believe in that magic, it's going to be n0tail and Seb, right? Because they've been there. Of just picking up whatever good pieces were left and then winning TI, right? So they know it's possible.
Yeah, but I would argue...
it's not going to happen every time.
Like, even in those instances where they weren't slated to do well and they end up winning TI, they still had... Like, n0tail was always a superstar, right? You always have at least that one guy that you know what to expect from them. And yeah,
this team had 9 who won TI, right? He just didn't play at a high level this time, in my opinion.
Based
I just don't think
on what I have heard from other people, he was never in remotely the same category as other cores that have carried this. He was just part of the team.
Fair enough.
Of course, I'm not an expert on this, Cinder, and I just talk out of my ass for a living. So
that's good.
Yeah, it is good, actually. It's quite good.
But anyway, all right. In conclusion, the OG roster has been split. They're trying some new players out right now. I'm starting to lose track, honestly, of who is actually a trial, what is actually happening. But n0tail will be coaching, and they're trying to qualify for tournaments, so we'll see. And in addition to that, they have OG Latam, which we just talked about.
Latam? How did you say it?
Are going to play Latam.
Latin
America.
Latin.
They're going to be playing in Dreamleague, and that is the fully Peruvian team with K1, Dark Mago, Eilich, El Mijo, and Moose. So flat out just an SA team there. But yeah, we'll see. Switching n0tail in as a coach, see if that can... I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that's going to give them more draw with players?
What, having a
or do you
second
think
team?
No, so let's say you're OG and you're like, all right, we're going talent scouting or we're trying to get high profile players for our team. Do you think you can win over more top tier players by being like, we have n0tail as coach? Do you think some players will be attracted to that idea as part of the package? Or do you think it's like, how important do you think players value that? How much value do they put in that?
I mean, this is more a question for you. But yeah, obviously he will have some sort of a draw, 2-time TI winner. Question is, has he kept up with things? I have no clue.
That's true. It puts some pressure on him. If you want to be a good coach, you need to play high-level Dota, in my opinion. Or at least you need to play Dota actively and watch. You need to interact with the game a lot. So some of the really good coaches, I think Astini, the coach of Power Vision, for example, is not very high MMR, but I think he plays a lot. I think he watches a lot, and I think he really cares about the game and thinks about it a ton. If you want to perform any role on a team at this level, you don't need to be an elite player to coach, but you do need to spend a full-time amount of hours every week on Dota if you want to be good at your job.
Yeah, and I think this is not...
n0tail has not done that recently.
Right. Well,
so
that we know of, at least.
Right.
But yeah, there's been players in the past that have achieved very great success, and then they've taken 6 months to a year off, and they'll come on panel, and they won't know anything about that. It's actually crazy.
Yeah,
it is actually crazy to listen to somebody that you know was 6 months to a year ago at the top level, and they know nothing now. It goes fast, man.
It's actually very telling about the way Dota works as a game, that is possible. Imagine that happening in basketball.
Yeah.
You know? That'd be fucking crazy. Some elite level player retires. 6 months later, he's on TV and he's talking about it. And people are like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You can't shoot 3-pointers from there.
Well, it's funny you say that because Charles Barkley, Shaq, that whole panel, they know nothing. But it's been like 20 years, 30 years, right?
You know, things move.
And they don't watch shit. They just show up and get their paychecks, but they're hilarious, which is all that really matters, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, best of luck to OG. I think it's good for the game if OG are good, whether it's their main squad or the LATAM squad or both. It would be good for Dota if OG find some success. Whether you're a hater or a fan of the org, I think they pull viewers. So it's good for the game if OG is present at the very least.
Yep.
So we wish them luck.
All right, this is the final topic that I have, Cinderin, which is not going to be long. So this is going to be a super short episode, unless you can think of a topic that is.
All right. I mean, sometimes there just isn't too much happening, as in the last 6 months of Dota, except tournaments. So, you know.
Yeah. Well,
sure. Patch is just around the corner. Don't worry.
I hope so. So Valve made a blog post called Between the Lanes, Nest of Thorns, where they talk about the development of the Nest of Thorns custom game, as well as, or not custom game, mini game, along with a lot of the other mini games that they created early on for Crownfall. And I would recommend you guys read this. I know that I maybe am a little bit more interested in something like this because I'm making a game myself, but learning about the process through other means and then reading this and kind of reiterates a lot of the same principles that I've learned throughout the last few years, where it's all about just getting, like they would just start with a prototype that looks like absolute shit just to see if people find it fun, even remotely fun. Of course, you have to find, this is the hard thing that I've found, is you have to find an audience that is okay with the scuffedness, right? And they can look past that and then just see if the gameplay is good. So they went back to the drawing board a few times and eventually, and I will say the first half of this, the way that I was reading it, it felt like they were trying to, I'm not saying they were trying to imply this, but it felt, what's the right way to put this? I've been trying to be less of a dick lately, as you can tell. It's really hard for me.
Wow.
They make it seem like this is a novel game, which literally just copy-pasted Vampire Survivors, right? But it does prove one thing, which I have also learned, is there's nothing unique, basically, when it comes to making games. It's all about iterating. It's all about taking things from other games and combining them. And they took an amazing concept, which is Vampire Survivors, and they added some twists along the road, right? Which is they did a really good job of. But yeah, I found this to be a really interesting read. Just like the back and forth of, they make like a couple mini games, like the fishing thing for Crownfall 1, just to see what the interaction would be like. And they're like, oh, people are actually interacting with this. The numbers are pretty decent. I guess we can go to the next level. So they keep upping it each act, and then like, okay, we have to get this final mini game. It's got to be good. It's got to wrap up the story. And what's the best type of mode for that? Oh, the Vampire Survivors, which there's actually a name for this. What is the name of the genre? Yeah, because I just call it Vampire Survivors.
I think that in this one they called it a reverse bullet hell.
No, that was something.
And that's what, didn't they?
Maybe they said that somewhere, but there was an actual name of the genre. Anyway,
Survivors genre.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, Survivors.
Reverse bullet hell. So in a bullet hell, you are dodging shots. In this one, you are the one shooting all the shots, right? So I guess that's why they call it reverse bullet hell. Anyway, I don't know.
But yeah, so reading this, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Very cool to see how the process works and how Valve works going. The fact that they get their own employees basically to play test. I mean, imagine that that's part of your job is to just play test other people. So that sounds fucking cool to me. But yeah, so I think based on what
everybody makes shit games and you have to play.
That's them true. The fact that that they're on average going to be good, right? But it sounds like, based on what I read at least, that they're definitely going to try taking this concept and continuing to do it again, which is great news because Crownfall was amazing. And the question is, can they take it to another level? Do they even want to? Is it worth the effort, right?
You got me thinking when you talked about how every game now is just a twist on a previous game, right? What is the most novel game you can think of from the last decade where you're like, holy shit, this is really different than something else I have played?
I'll see. Even if I were to answer that, somebody in chat would know a reference to something else that was made. So let me give you let me take the scope and make it a lot smaller so you guys can understand. If I make an ability from scratch in Relic Arena, I've done this before where I make something, it's like really unique, really cool, and it ends up just being very similar to like 2 or 3 spells in Dota that are combined. And it's not intended.
Right.
And you could look at every skill in League, every skill in Dota, and take parallels with other games as well. It's almost impossible to come up with something truly unique. And if you do, it's usually convoluted and just a mess, in my experience at least. There might be some exceptions here and there, but I promise you that most of like 99% of the abilities in Dota you can find in another game. Which people look at it like, oh, it's just a copy. No, that's how game design works. It's just an iterative process. So
right. I'm like scrolling through my Steam library now, trying to find a game from the last decade where I'm like, wow, this is super different from everything else I've played. And I mean, you're kind of right? It's like mostly or entirely heavily leaning on a previous success.
I mean, like Relic Arena or Ability Arena was I was just upset playing Atomic War. I loved Atomic War, but there were certain things that they just never fixed, and it was apparently design choices I could not stand. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm going to take this game, give it a twist, which the twist is, like, for them, the skills buying in the shop was kind of like an afterthought. It was just there as like a side thing. It's like, I want to make this the main thing of the game. And then I did that. We did that. So it's just another example of, iterating on other ideas.
Okay, I think I have my game.
Okay.
But it might just be ignorance that I have not seen other games like this before it. I've seen plenty after. Do you know the game called Getting Over It?
Sure don't.
Okay. It's literally a game where you're a guy you're in an iron pot and you have a hammer and you're climbing up a wall and it gets increasingly stupidly difficult, and when you fuck up you fall down and you have to climb up again. It's like, I don't remember what the genre is called now, but it has spawned a lot of games since that are literally just, it's like torture.
I see.
You need to do these very precise maneuvers. The way you move your mouse affects how you swing your hammer and climb up, and it's very unforgiving and really frustrating. It's entirely possible that there's plenty of games before that. I'm just not aware of them.
I thought of a game that's truly unique. Banana.
Oh.
The game where all you do is you click a banana and hope to get good RNG to be able to sell NFTs or whatever the fucking bullshit is.
It's kind of like Cookie Clicker, but with NFTs, right?
Truly unique. My goodness. What a concept.
So you were scrolling through your games list as well and you found banana.
No.
I do not have it in mind.
I don't have that on my list.
Let's see. Papers, Please. I would say is pretty damn unique. If you know that game.
I don't. Man, I need to play more games.
You are a border guard and you need to check people's documents and decide whether or not they get to enter the country.
Yeah, I've seen
that. Is pretty unique, I would say, that game as well.
Well, see, I would argue again, I can't tell you right here what game would be similar to. That the theme can be unique. That's a unique theme. I doubt the gameplay is truly unique though.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sure some people in the YouTube comments will.
That's going to be interesting to see what people think from like the last decade. What's the most novel game that came out? I'm curious.
Okay. I think that this is our.
Not every episode needs to be an hour and a half. I mean, we did a very long previous one. The last episode was 2.5 hours, Shannon. So we're dragging down the average a little bit.
That's true. That's true.
Not every time's a marathon.
I figured we get to an. I mean, usually I'm like, oh, we have no topics, and you talk for a fucking hour and a half somehow about nothing. Just truly impressive. But maybe that's because we usually do it at my nighttime, which is your morning, and you're just starting to get your energy, and as you charge up like a robot, then you can go off forever. And now you're winding down.
This makes absolutely no sense because I am not a morning person.
Your battery
be the least productive.
Your battery is low right now. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say.
I feel like I'm peaking right now because it's not morning. But
predictions on when the patch is coming, real quick.
Okay. All right. How accurate are you thinking here? Month, week?
Week.
Where do you feel like we're at? You think we're on a week stage now?
Oh, I know. I'm saying okay. I misinterpreted what you said. We're making a prediction. Are we trying to do it by week?
Right.
I do not think there will be a patch before. Wait, if there's a patch.
Week of May.
Last week of May?
Yeah. So
during Dreamleague.
26th of May to 31st of May.
During Dreamleague.
Or 1st of June. Yeah.
But
because it always fucking happens during Dreamleague somehow. So why wouldn't it this time?
So not a letter patch? You think they're done with letter patches?
I think there will be one more letter patch. If you mean flat out 739,
why would we predict? Why would we be predicting a letter patch? Who gives a shit? Seriously.
Okay, then I'm gonna say 739 is in July.
July 10. Is Riyadh, right?
When is it in July?
I don't know.
All right, you know what? You got me. Let's do.
It's June. It's got to be June.
Late June. Then
late June?
I'll say last week of June.
Okay, I'm going to say they're going to play with my emotions, and it'll be the day after Dreamleague, so early June.
Okay, so June 3rd.
Even though I love when they come out with a gigantic patch in the middle of a tournament and they fuck everything up. I'm not even being ironic. It's the best part of casting. Or being a part of the scene. That is literally, non-ironically, the best part. Is when they fuck everything up. It's when
everyone is clueless and the games are way less predictable. It's a lot of fun.
Good. And for me, I don't think I've cast a tournament that's done that in a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But crossing my fingers for that. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, Sunset Center signing out. See you guys in Sweden. Goodbye.
Bye. Well, don't see you in Sweden. There's no live event.
Well, you'll see us while we're
see us online in Sweden.
Bye. We say things that don't mean anything.
Subscribe.
But thanks for listening.